With Joel Robles in goal, Ayling, Christensen, Koch, Verber and Firpo. Then it's McKennie, Greenwood and Harrison. Up top, Rodrigo and Bamford. Newcastle in dark blue with gold trim have Pope in goal, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Byrne, Joel Linton, Bruno and Willock. And then Almiron, Wilson and Isaac up top. And two teams going into huddles either side of the centre circle, away to our right hand side. Newcastle United now joined by their captain Kieran Trippier, and Luke Ayling captaining Leeds goes into a huddle away to our left hand side. The sun is out. The first few rows of all four stands have just got a little bit of sunshine in the eyes of the supporters. Away to our left in the Don Revie stand, most of them just shielding their eyes as we're about to get underway. The referees, Simon Hooper, Adrian Holmes and Mark Scholes, the assistants, the VAR, Neil Swarbrick. At 3 o'clock on Talksport, the spotlight will fall on the Europa League places as Ryan Mason looks to get a tune out of Spurs at Villa. But this lunchtime, Big Sam is back on the big stage, and he wants to provide Leeds with a thrilling comeback. We're underway. Leeds in white, shooting towards the right-hand side, and it's Newcastle in that dark blue with gold trim, attacking the goal away to our left. With me, a man who played in the Champions League with Newcastle United, and it is a big day for Sam Allardyce, a good atmosphere. How wary should Newcastle be of an Allardyce-inspired Leeds?
Well, Leeds should come out here, which they've done at this moment in time, with some real intensity to their play. They've got to bring the crowd to the party. We've spoke in depth about Leeds and what it means to them, but certainly Newcastle, with Liverpool's resurgence recently, this game as well has got to be their Waterloo, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I'm pleased you're getting...
I'm getting the Eurovision. I'm
getting into it. Save all your kisses for me. Here's Joel Linton, just inside the centre circle. He's fouled from behind by Bamford. Bamford pulls him to the floor inside the centre circle. It's going to be a free kick just over the halfway line. And they're attacking the goal away to our left. It's 0-0. You're listening to Talksport. We've played just a minute of action here at Ellen Road on this Saturday lunchtime as we start the real big time as the Premier League gets into its final few weeks. Many of the teams only got 3 to play, and this weekend is pivotal at the top and the bottom of the greatest division in the world. Here is Joel Linton, big and bulky and strong, and guiding the ball back from the heart of midfield into the path of Schär, who wanders out with the ball, plays it into Joel Linton. He goes wide to Dan Burn, who's closed down by Robin Koch. And he is playing in midfield, Robin Koch. We thought that might well be the case. It's a back four for Leeds United. Koch, the extra body in midfield, almost acting as the sort of defensive midfielder, the Claude Makaleli role in front of the back four, screening them.
Yeah, it certainly is. They've gone to a 4. We weren't sure at the offset. And I'm just looking at... I mean, they've just voted, sports writers have voted Haaland Player of the Year, haven't they?
Yes.
And I think in front of us today, there's a player that would come into conversations in Joe Linton, who's playing point down in midfield at the moment as well, which is incredible for an ex-centre forward. Almiron
playing the ball reverse towards the edge of the area. Isaac gets a touch, it's half clear, comes back out of Trippier, right-footed cross from the right wing position, aimed towards Joe Willock. It comes back out to Joel Linton, edge of the area. He smashes the ball high and over the top of the crossbar from 25 yards out. It goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Erling Haaland got 82% of the football writers' votes. Bukayo Saka came second in that, and Martin Ødegaard third.
I think that's a fair reflection, but as I say, the likes of Joe Linton, for where he was, bear in mind, centre forward for Newcastle, almost hounded out of town. All of a sudden today, in front of our eyes, after a great season, he's playing holding midfield. You know, incredible, isn't it?
They've done a good job with him, haven't they? Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall, who are standing on the edge of the technical area down in front of us. We are in the John Charles stand, right at the very back, watching as Joel Robles takes a goal kick. I wonder how many seconds he's going to take over it, because he's already taken about 15. And he is being urged on by Simon Hooper. Both these two sides come into the game having lost their previous matches. Newcastle beaten at home by Arsenal. Leeds scrapped, but were probably slightly flattered by the scoreline at City. Pep's team could have had 3 or 4 before half-time. Here come Leeds United, up to Bamford, back to goal. Plays it into Greenwood, who bustles forward, commits a foul on Trippier. And in the Newcastle right full-back position, A decision is given against Leeds United. It feels like a big day, doesn't it? The atmosphere feels electric inside the stadium.
It does, and what I'm pleased to see from Leeds' point of view, they're on the front foot today. I expected no less from them. If you're a bit subservient on your home field against Newcastle, you're probably going down anyway, but they're on the front foot, they're putting pressure on the ball, and they're making life a little uncomfortable for Newcastle.
This is much better than last week in the early stages of the game. Ayling goes right up to halfway and pinches it off Isak. Gets it back and sends it infield. Christensen, who's playing as a centre-half again today, gives the ball away to Isak. It's turned over by Newcastle. Willock plays it through the middle up towards Almiron, and now Joel Linton strides forward again. Slides it down the right side of the area into Almiron. He turns it back towards Bruno Guimaraes. He wanders out towards the right side. Greenwood is chasing him. They keep hold of it well, Newcastle here. Tight over on the far side is Almiron, trying to take on Junior Firpo. Play on, says the referee. As Firpo goes to ground, he gets back up, commits a tackle on Bruno Guimaraes. It's out for a throw-in down by the corner flag over on the far side.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I thought Firpo was taking his legs away from him, but the referee, no, well, I would have probably give a foul this day and age, but...
Throwing over on the far side of the pitch. It's Leeds 0, Newcastle 0 on Talksport. Joel Linton back to Trippier, who stoops, heads the ball in towards the edge of the box. It's half cleared by Leeds, and from the left full-back position, Jack Harrison shoots the ball up to halfway. It went out over on the far side for a throw-in, and it goes out for a throw-in to Leeds United, the home team. Only a win takes Leeds temporarily out of the relegation zone. Newcastle need to get back on the winning trail to keep Manchester United and Liverpool at bay. Manchester United playing at 3 o'clock, Liverpool playing on Monday. And they do have a game in hand over Liverpool, Newcastle United. That game is on Thursday night at home against Brighton, a 7:30 kickoff. It's live on Talksport. Ball goes upfield, down the left. It's headed away by Bamford. Goes wider onto Harrison, who chips it over the top of Trippier. And now Bamford's got it on the left-hand side for Leeds, attacking the goal away to our right. He's crossing to the box. He's aimed towards Weston McKennie. Saved by the goalkeeper. Back to Ayling and in. It's taken just 6 minutes for Sam Allardyce and his team to get off the mark in his first home game, and it could be huge for Newcastle United. Luke Ayling with the first goal at Ellen Road under Sam Allardyce puts Newcastle United on the back foot, and Leeds United in the lead at home. It's 1-0. Luke Ayling with a tap-in, and I just wonder whether or not Nick Pope might feel he should have done a little bit better with the original shot.
Yeah, I'll probably agree with you there, Sam. He's gone down a little bit slow and just parried it back into the danger zone, but I've got to give massive credit. I was critical of him last week. Bamford, his hold-up play was magnificent then, and put a brilliant ball into the box. And as I say, it bounced just in front of Pope, who's clawed it out, but left it in the danger zone for a tap-in. What a start for Leeds.
Only a second goal of the season for Luke Ayling of Leeds United. What a big goal that could be. And Sam Allardyce has gone balmy, as you may well expect. What a terrific start for Leeds. There's been a goal in the Old Firm game as well. Here's David Tanner.
And the champions are behind after 5 minutes. John Lundstrom's 25-yarder parried by Joe Hart, and there was Todd Cantwell to crash the ball through the goalkeeper's legs. It's Rangers 1, champions Celtic 0.
Well, it was interesting. The cross from the left-hand side from Bamford was brilliant. And McKennie and Rodrigo both went up for the ball. I think after looking at the replay, maybe it was Rodrigo who got the header in, but they both went up for the same ball. They headed the ball down towards Nick Pope, who went down to his left-hand side, sort of pushed the ball out, but Ayling was up there, following in, getting into the penalty area. He was 4 yards from goal, and no one had followed him, no one spotted him, and he was on his own to tap it in. And it's 1-0 to Leeds United, and that changes the feeling inside the stadium again, Stuart.
Well, it alleviates some of the pressure. You look at sort of the early kickoffs, Leeds will think to themselves, if we can get a result on the board, and it heaps more pressure on the likes of Leicester, who are not playing till Monday evening, and Everton and Forest. All of a sudden it's so important that you do try and kick the weekend off with 3 points.
This is the big moment for Sam Allardyce. He knows that. It's the first home game. No one gave him a chance at Manchester City, but they can give themselves a huge chance of staying in the league if they manage to get all 3 points here. Even if looking at the season so far, one of the major characteristics of Leeds United is taking the lead and throwing points away. McKennie tries to win it in midfield, loses out to Fabian Schär, and then Joe Willock travels over the halfway line. He bounds forward up the pitch, and then Koch actually just used his arm to push Willock to the floor. It was a little bit naughty that. It is a free kick.
Well, the refs let a couple of easy-ish ones go, but on that occasion Koch's come across and he's cleared Willock out, and good decision by the referee.
Going to be a free kick. Since the last time Newcastle turned up at Ellen Road 18 months ago, only 3 teams have picked up more points. They've had an excellent record under Eddie Howe, and they shouldn't be written off just 9 minutes into the game.
I think the interesting thing is, as well, if you're Newcastle and drop out the top 4 at the end of this season, it will really deflate the place, really, from where they've been and the standards they've set.
And they've still got so much to play for. It would feel negligent, wouldn't it, to throw away a place in the top 4 now. Here is the free kick, Trippier to take it. He's a good 9 yards back from the edge of the penalty area, wide on the left-hand side. He'll try to curl this into the box. In fact, he sends it low and gives it poorly straight away to Harrison. Harrison races upfield. He sees on the far side space for Rodrigo, but he couldn't get it out of his feet. And it's been nabbed by Willock, and they've turned it over. But it was an opportunity to get the ball in the box. Trippier's tried something cute, and it didn't come off at all.
I think Trippier's done the right thing. I'm looking at that and thinking the ball into Isaac's feet, it is the one to play, but credit to Leeds, they read it, and the ball itself wasn't a great ball. It was the right thing to try, but certainly not executed well.
They were a little bit fortunate there, Leeds, Newcastle, that they didn't get broken on, because when Harrison emerged with the ball, it looked like there could be a problem. Wilson, being held, turns and tries to fire a shot in at a tight angle, twists and manages to get that shot away. Joel Robles is there to stop it, and it's cleared by the goalkeeper, who with his arms turns and fires it like a slingshot out towards the far side. He's got big, powerful arms, Joel Robles, who did win the FA Cup 10 years ago in the Wigan team that beat Manchester City against the odds. Now he's looking to help inspire Leeds United against the odds and stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think one of the big things for Leeds, I look at them and I think I can see them conceding a goal here, Sam, today, you know, and you're looking and thinking, well, the one goal you've got might give you a point at this moment in time.
Well, they haven't won since April the 4th. It's a run of 6 games without a win at just the wrong time. They've only taken 1 point in that period. They've shipped 10 goals, and conceding goals, as you say, has been the big issue for them. Although they've scored in each of their past 10 league games, 15 in total, they've also conceded at least once on all of those occasions. They've shipped 29. That's almost 3 goals a game. Here is Bamford on the near side, winning the ball from Dan Burn. Big Dan Burn manages to wrestle the possession back, and then there's a foul by Bamford on the near touchline. Willock gets the free kick, and Eddie Howe is out to come and have a word with Joe Willock. And fourth official today is Sir Graham Scott, who's got the benefit of Jason Tyndall's wisdom for the next 78 minutes. Sam Allardyce standing right on the edge of the box. He's supported by Robbie Keane and Carl Robinson, his 2 assistant managers. Free kick has been given against Verber, who's come out from defence and just crunched into the back of Callum Wilson. Just a little bit eager, I think, there to try and win the ball. It was never really on for him.
Yeah, I think what you've got to do if you Leeds, and it's impressed me, they're on the front foot, they're aggressive in their challenge, but you can't give away cheap free kicks continually in and around your final third.
And this is exactly where this free kick is situated, around about 15 yards from the edge of the box. It's just right of centre, down the side of the D. If you was to draw a line from it, that's where it would end up, but it's a good 15 yards outside the box, so this will have to be dripped in behind the defence by Kieran Trippier or Miguel Almiron. It is Trippier who slips it towards the back post, aimed towards Sven Botman, but it was headed away by Christensen. It comes out and away for a throw-in on this near side. Quickly taken by Almiron, back in play with Bruno Guimaraes, who's accused of handball. He switches the play from left to right, but it was a bit behind Trippier, who's had to retreat slightly because immediately Leeds are on the press. They're straight out, pushing up, high up the pitch.
Yeah, they are a good line from Leeds as well, squeezed up just nicely.
14 gone, Talksport, live at Ellen Road. Here is Fabian Schär, wide to Trippier. Trippier a couple of steps in from the touchline. It's a ball infield which doesn't reach Wilson, goes all the way through to McKennie, and then forward by Verber, looking for Bamford. It's back again, and Almiron's put his foot on it. Isaac down the left-hand side towards Willock, joined by Almiron. Left-footed shot driven towards the near post, goes behind into the side netting.
Yeah, there's been a good little link-up in this between Isaac playing on the left-hand side and Willock. You know, they've got a nice little understanding, seem to know where each other are, and on that occasion, I think it's Willock got in a very pleasant position just behind Leeds' midfield.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have, isn't it, for Eddie Howe? How do you get Jacob Murphy, who's on form, Almiron, Wilson and Isaac all into the same team at the same time? Wilson's goal-scoring exploits this season have arguably gone under the radar, really. 15 goals from just 18 league starts. The only player to have netted more than 9 from fewer starts is Alexander Isak, and they are a real potent goal-scoring threat.
Yeah, and with the players you've just named there, you've not mentioned Longstaff or Sam Maximan, you know, and it shows the strength of the depth they've got now. Yeah,
Longstaff, who's out injured but hasn't got a long-term problem. He had a appointment with the specialist this week. He's going to have a scan. It looks as if he's going to be okay before the end of the season, maybe, but it's not going to be something that rules him out for a very long time. It remains 1-0 to Leeds United, 16 minutes gone.
Yeah, just looking at the goal again, and I think Pope will be very disappointed.
The ball is over on the far side, and it's Harrison chasing into the corner, and he just was a little bit handsy with Fabian Schär. Newcastle United, who have kept clean sheets on many occasions this season, have conceded once again. It's only one clean sheet in the Premier League in 15 games now. Before that, the Magpies had kept 12 in 21 and had the best defence in the league at one point this season. That's not the case anymore. The ball is with Fabian Schär. Sends it forward looking for Willock, who manages to get something on it, does brilliantly to squeeze it out to Isaac down the left-hand side into the left wing position. Newcastle on the attack here. Isaac flips it towards the far post, a delicate ball which Robles comes and claims above the head of Wilson and pulls into his chest and will clear away for Leeds United. 1-0 they lead.
There's that interaction once again. Ayling's got his hands full with Isaac and being drawn out wide, and then Willock goes in the space between central defender and Ayling, you know, and that's a sort of area that Leeds have got to be very mindful of.
It's interesting because Joel Linton is sticking back, acting as the anchor man, the man who sweeps up in front of the back four and then drives forward, but it's Willock who's providing more of an attacking threat. Here is Joel Linton, though, wandering towards the edge of the area, and he goes down under a little bit of a soft challenge from Junior Firpo. The referee says play on, and the referee has to watch as Leeds come careering down the right with Rodrigo. He moves into an advanced position, taking on Byrne, looks to get the cross in, blocked by Byrne, comes back towards Ayling, who's a little bit deeper, and then he plays it against Isaac after his initial miscontrol, stops him from being able to get a first ball into the box, and it goes out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Carl Robinson striding out against the edge of the technical area, shouting and screaming. Sam Rob Allardyce is down there as well, making sure that his voice is being heard.
Got to say, Simon Hooper, the referee, is letting a lot go in regard to challenges that you think are fouls or not, but he's been very consistent with what he's doing.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the better referees for me because he keeps things moving. Throwing on this near side, it is a torpedo from McKennie in towards Koch, who manages to get his head on it but didn't get any direction. It's a Leeds shirt that's first to it, though. Byrne just a little hesitant as the ball comes out towards the near side. There's a foul by Willock here, tight on the touchline on McKennie. And it's a set piece for Leeds United, and Sam Greenwood, who we haven't even mentioned during the game so far, because he's hardly had a touch of the ball, actually sees his eyes light up because this is what he's here for.
Yeah, as I say, good opportunity here, probably level with the edge of the box, but right out on the touchline. He'll use his right foot to whip in And once again there, Dan Burn dallied on the ball on the edge of the box, and it was that man Bamford again, getting on the ball, keeping the attack alive, and credit to him for it. You need a centre forward to lead the line.
McKennie in there. So is Koch and Bamford, Tuema and Rodrigo. It's in towards the penalty spot area. It wasn't a great delivery that from Greenwood. It was a bit behind the runners towards the near post, and it was a little bit too low as well. It's headed away by Wilson, back in by Christensen, and it goes straight down the right channel before it's gobbled up by Nick Pope, who bowls it out. Currently the odds are this: Leeds United 1, Newcastle 0. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Leeds to win at 29-20. The draw is 13-5. The Newcastle win 13-8. It's all thanks to Betfair 18+, begambleaware.org. Ball is on the right side. They're in last chance saloon mode for Leeds United, and they have so far walked into that saloon and taken their first drink of the day. Leeds United lead by a goal to nil, courtesy of a strike, a tap in for Luke Ayling after a header from Rodrigo. Ball played down the left channel by Bruno Guimaraes, asking a bit of Isaac, doesn't get it quite right, and it spills behind and away towards our left-hand side. So it's Leeds United who lead by a goal to nil, live on Talk Sport with Now Sports. And don't forget, with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton, Manchester City and Arsenal Brighton tomorrow, live from $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports.
So it's difficult to call which team have got the ascendancy in this game. Newcastle have threatened on occasion, but certainly Leeds have as well. But more importantly, they've got the first goal, which just breeds confidence within the group.
You would expect at some point Newcastle United to get a goal. They have a goal threat that is the envy of many in the Premier League. We've already mentioned why, but 22 goals they scored in April was more than any other Premier League team. Here is Trippier switching the play from right to left. Willock chesting it down, moving towards the edge of the penalty area. Isaac takes it on now. Christensen is alongside him and he tries to cut back in on his right foot. Isaac does brilliantly, right-footed shot, which is then blocked by Christensen on the 6-yard box. Comes back out to Joel Linton, recycles it down the left. Willock digs a cross out towards the far post, looking for Almiron. He didn't expect it to actually elude the Leeds defence. It went over the head of Firpo, who misjudged it, and when it came down to Almiron, he didn't realise it was coming, couldn't control it, flicks off the Paraguayan's boot and goes out for a goal kick away to our right.
Yeah, Firpo it was. He was backing off, and it looks for all intents and purposes as though he was going to head it. But when you see the replay, he was probably nowhere near it, and Almiron should keep his eye on the ball and bring that down.
Talk Sport on a sunny West Yorkshire afternoon, and Luke Ayling's not smiling in the sunshine. He just felt he was caught on this near touch line. Simon Hooper has now brought it back to have a word with Willock on this near side.
This is just ridiculous, really. What tends to happen nowadays, the referees look and they see the player's reaction a split second after the ball's gone, so they've no idea what's happened, so they're guessing. So basically Ayling's cleared the ball up the touchline. He's followed through, might not have kicked the Newcastle player, and the reaction.
And he screamed.
Yeah, gets the foul.
And because he screamed, he got the foul. They've sent that forward, but it's come straight back again to halfway. 22 gone, 1-0 to Leeds United. Ayling with the goal. Ball out on the near side. A throw-in for Newcastle United, who haven't really tested Joel Robles in the Leeds United goal up until this point. No clear-cut chances. They haven't been peppering his goal. At the moment, I think Sam Allardyce would be pretty happy with the way that the game has gone. Here is Dan Burn sliding the ball forward down the left-hand side. Willock getting hold of it. He tried to get hold of it, then couldn't quite. Then played it against Christensen, and it spilt out and away for a throw-in down by the corner flag.
Yeah, Dan Burn's tossed one down into the channel there for Willock. Really, probably as a natural fullback, you'd probably put a little bit more curl on the ball, so it takes some of the control problems out of the ball.
And that is, I suppose, the problem with Dan Burn playing at left back week in, week out. Here's Trippier down the left-hand side. First time cross into the box as he tries to find Wilson. It goes out over on the far touchline, the Newcastle right. And then it's put straight out of play by Almiron again. And it's away for a throw-in. This is Talk Sport. The way things are at this moment in time, Leeds would be coming out of the relegation zone up into 16th position. Nottingham Forest would drop a place to 17th. Everton dropping into the relegation zone. Then come Leicester and Southampton, who in all likelihood, unless something miraculous happens, will be relegated. Today is the earliest opportunity it can be confirmed, but it won't be too long before they are playing Championship football again. And Leicester City play on Monday night against Liverpool live on Talksport. That is not the next football that is coming up on Talksport, because we have got huge playoff games as well to bring you between now and then. Today is absolutely balmy, really, the amount of football we've got live on Talksport. 5 live commentaries over the course of the day on Talksport and Talksport 2. Download our app. You will need it over the course of the next few weeks, because there's one point next Thursday night, I think it is, where we've got 3 live games all at the same time. The West Ham Europa League game, the Newcastle game against Brighton, and second leg of a playoff, Peterborough against Sheffield Wednesday, which Peterborough are 4-0 in front in.
Just looking there, pass from Guimaraes, just overhit it again. He's probably had 2 or 3 opportunities to slide players in, and he's just not got it right at the moment. Just overhit a couple of passes. Well,
without him in the side, they look a different team. He's been the sort of fulcrum of their midfield over the course of the season. But when he dips, you can see that supply line to the forwards isn't really there.
No, and as I say, yeah, he's had 2 good, certainly really good opportunities to feed Isaac, and on that occasion Amir on, and just not got it right.
The clearance by Robles has gone straight upfield. It's been touched on to Bamford, who's got it back to Harrison. Harrison's ball forward was really poor, but Bamford, who seems to have livened up considerably, has forced Newcastle into an error, and their clearance wasn't great, and now Burns struggling to deal with Ayling again, and it goes out on this near side, and it's another Leeds United throw, and that came about because of the intensity and pressing from the front that Bamford was doing.
Yeah, as I say, Dan Burns probably symptomatic of Newcastle at the moment, just looks off the pace, little bit leggy, little bit slow to get on the ball on occasion.
I think Newcastle are targeting those wide areas, those full-back areas. They know Trippier loves to get forward, so there's space on that left-hand side, and they know that Burn isn't naturally a full-back, and they're trying to cause him issues too.
Yeah.
So far it's worked on a couple of occasions. They've got another throw-in, and McKennie is torpedoing the ball in towards the penalty spot. It's headed away by Joel Linton, hooked on by Greenwood, and Trippier heads it away, goes out into the left wing position. Harrison manages to control that with a bit of backspin, comes back to the left side of the area. Greenwood wriggles it through a tight gap, gives it to Firpo. He bursts into the box, goes down, penalty! Joel Linton with a clumsy challenge to drag down Junior Firpo after a brilliant bit of Leeds United football, and a penalty kick has been awarded.
Top quality recycling from Leeds there. The ball semi-cleared. It was Harrison first off, then a good interaction.
Great football by Greenwood to set up Firpo.
It certainly was, and then when Firpo burst into the box, all he had to do was stay ahead or slightly ahead of Joe Linton and say, come on then, come and have a nibble at the ball, and you physically can't go anywhere near the ball then. Penalty, correct decision.
How big could this be for Patrick Bamford, who deleted social media because he missed from a couple of yards against Leicester and got such horrific abuse? Salvation, maybe for him, maybe for Leeds United. He stands up in front of the Norman Hunter stand. This could be huge in the context of relegation at the bottom of the Premier League. He's facing Nick Pope, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. He steps up left-footed, and it's saved by Pope. Comes back to Bamford, and he can't convert. What a huge miss. It's a good save by Pope, who got down to his right-hand side, but what an opportunity for Leeds United to double their advantage. And Patrick Bamford, once again, has his head in his hands.
Well, Pope has done really well to save the penalty, but you've got to turn around and say it wasn't the strongest of penalties.
Here's the corner, over on the far side, into the box, punched away, comes back towards Christensen, who tries to hit it. It's half cleared, and then eventually Firpo from the halfway line nudges it further forward. Christensen tries to nick it away from Bruno. Bruno dived on the floor. Simon Hoop was cracking up at that, saying there's no chance I'm giving you a free kick. And then he stopped the game because the ball had gone out of play. Patrick Bamford is complaining, is he, about the possibility of encroachment? Not sure there was any. But it was a poor penalty.
It was a poor penalty, but very similar to the goal. Pope's gone down because he's such a big unit. he was getting up quite slowly, if you like, and I thought Bamford was going to put the rebound in, but that is a massive penalty miss in regard to the relegation situation.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it? And you do feel for Patrick Bamford, because sometimes it goes really well for him and other times it really doesn't. And it's one of those moments where I think that Bamford just wished that the whole ground would open up and swallow him up.
Yeah, what he's got to do though, Sam, he's got to shelve it and get on with things, because they need his interaction in being the focal point at the front of the team, and he's done quite well up to now in the game.
Ball in towards the edge of the box. Oh, Verba has been sliding in on Isaac so clumsily. I think he might have slipped there, because that just seemed to come out of nothing. The ball was slid down the right. Firpo went in for a challenge. He thought that he was fouled, and then Verba just went sliding in on Isaac and took him out, and it's a penalty.
Amateurish defending. Firpo slipped, which compounded the problem. Isaac, brilliant interchange. Firpo slipped, and it was awful defending. He's had a swing at the ball, and he was... Jesus, what are you thinking about? You've just missed a penalty at one end of it. Just shepherd the striker out, stay on your feet, and that's probably why Leeds are in the situation they're in, conceding goals, Sam. It's a poor challenge.
Well, Newcastle United have just seen a penalty stopped by Nick Pope at one end, and now Joel Robles has got to try and prevent a penalty going in at the other end. It is going to be Alexander Isak, is it, or Callum Wilson who takes it? Callum Wilson has taken the ball from Kieran Trippier. Remember, 15 goals this season for Callum Wilson. He said he could sniff the Champions League a couple of weeks ago, and said that smell had gone recently. He might be able to get it back again with a strike of this penalty. He eyeballs Joel Robles in front of the Don Revie stand. It's 1-0 to Leeds at present. He steps up right-footed and smashes the penalty across the floor into the far corner. It's a terrifically taken spot kick from Callum Wilson, and Newcastle United are level. That's how you take a penalty.
I've got to say, if you're a neutral sat in this stadium, it is brilliant entertainment. If you've got a vested interest in Leeds United, it's the worst 2 minutes you've seen. Missing a penalty at one end, swung up the other end, and a really poor challenge and a great penalty by Wilson. 1-0.
It's a really well taken penalty by Callum Wilson, but thoughts of what might have been, because 2 minutes ago Leeds United were on the verge of taking a 2-0 lead, and let's be honest, at that point you would have made them heavy favourites to go on, win the game and be out of the relegation zone at the end of the night. Then they concede a penalty, Wilson scores it, and now they're in the relegation zone again.
Well, listen, only 10 minutes ago we're talking about I can't see Leeds keeping a clean sheet in this game, and for all intents and purposes it's not took them too long to give a really poor one away. You don't mind if you concede a bad goal or whatever, but to concede one like that where you think, wow, just a really poor challenge. And it was the pass, it was the third effort to play a ball into the final third by Bruno, and Isaac is on great form at the moment with a great give and go that induced the penalty.
Yeah. 1-1. You are listening to Talksport, and Luke Ayling is sending the ball forward up towards Bamford, who got a little whack on the head. It's come out on this near side. Just so you know, I would like a cash out figure for the bet, the charity bet, please. Our little producer Declan McCarthy just nodding his head. He's going to get that. I think we'll just take the money at this stage.
I'll have you know, in your absence at Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago, I took the cash out, actually, and
I heard, yeah,
topped the fund up just nicely.
You did, and you cashed out correctly, didn't you? Because otherwise it would have been, you would have lost the bet if you'd stuck with it.
Indeed I would. To be fair, I thought I cashed out and I got the money. That's why I cashed out. You know how tight I am, Sam.
Here's Trippier down the right-hand side, headed into the air by Verba. Wilson, he's under the pressure from McKennie, comes back to Byrne, who volleys it on the edge of the D for Newcastle, and it goes over the top of the crossbar.
I've got to say, there was another challenge in the box. Wilson made an absolute meal of it, but I've got to say there was contact, and what are you doing? It was McKennie on that occasion. Just stand your ground if you can't win the ball. On another day, there's a penalty given there, Sam.
Yep, you've got to be very careful, and you don't want to give away opportunities like that. And you do wonder whether or not that was the right choice of penalty taker Patrick Bamford. Rodrigo, who in Patrick Bamford's absence was quite good at taking penalties earlier in the season, and is the top scorer. Didn't take it. I think he'll take the next one, should they get up.
Yeah, as I say, it was not enough pace and power in the ball, and Pope comfortably fell to his right and saved.
Yeah, I think this game has just sort of turned in Newcastle's favour in the last few minutes. And two incredibly important minutes. 35 on the clock. Leeds 1, Newcastle 1. And Joe Linton coming forward. Leeds will want to get to half-time now, 1 apiece. Bruno Guimaraes tucks it down the right channel for Newcastle United. It's away by Firpo, given away by Greenwood. Bruno Guimaraes goes in with a strong challenge. It falls to Isak. He's about 10 yards short from the penalty area. Gives it back to Dan Burn. And now Willock strides forward. Plays it back towards Guimaraes. It's wide towards the right-hand side, and Newcastle just knitting play together and trying to slalom their way up the pitch. Guimaraes trying to take on Koch. Koch dives in, and it comes back to Kieran Trippier, and it might have taken a deflection, that, and goes out for a corner to Newcastle United.
Yeah, clever play by Trippier. He's come on to it, looked for all intents and purposes was going to be a 50-50 challenge. He got there first and just smashed it at the Leeds player, deflected off him straight for a corner beyond him. 30 metres, and I'm really liking this interaction between Isak and Willock. You know, they're interchanging, so on occasion Isak's going in and playing in that midfield area, and Willock just playing outside on the left.
Well, they're all good technical footballers, aren't they? And they've got the ability to do that. Here is the corner to be taken by Trippier far side, just back from the penalty spot. Isak and Joel Linton are lurking with intent. Some big figures in the middle of that box, and here's Trippier with the cross after a little interchange. Goes back towards Botman, who's seen the ball taken off his head. Wilson wins a challenge on this near touch line and then gets the ball robbed from him by Rodrigo. Firpo didn't really know where to go, and the referee is getting furious about a challenge on him, which he isn't happy about. He's actually furious about it, and he's barracking the referee Simon Hooper. The ball is out for a throw-in on this near side, and there has been a goal in the Old Firm game for David Tanner.
It's now Rangers 2, Celtic 0, Sam. James Tavernier's outswinging corner from the right, and a header from John Souttar from 18 yards out, his first goal for the club. Rangers 2, Celtic 0, 10 minutes to half-time.
I've been advised that it's a little bit too early for me to cash out, and I wouldn't get too much value in it, so I'll wait a little bit further on. Here is Greenwood playing the ball into the path of Harrison. Well, that was the idea, and it's a mistake by Scher that allowed Harrison to get onto the ball. He's now on the right side of the area for Leeds. McKennie into the box. It's headed away at the far post by Trippier, who's diving and heading the ball out of the penalty area. McKennie fighting back to get there ahead of Willock, can't do so, and Willock has gone charging forward for Newcastle. Down the other end of the pitch, he comes in field past Rasmus Christensen, and Koch is there to cover and clears from Leeds United up towards the midway point of their own half, but Newcastle come again with Bruno Guimaraes. 37 on the clock, 1-1 the score on Talksport. It's collected on the wide right by Isak. Isak trying to turn and get away from Verba, who gave away the penalty. Back in field it goes towards the edge of the box, then back wide again to Almiron, who slides it through the 6-yard box, takes a deflection, goes behind, and it's out for a corner.
I've got to say, Sam, Leeds have been unhinged probably on about 3 occasions now by give and goes on the edge of the box. They're following the ball rather than watching where the man's going, and it's basic defending, basically, you know. And Newcastle have been very good at it, that interaction around the box, whoever it may be, and Isak's playing a big role in that on that occasion. Almiron's on the other side of the Leeds back line.
Corner number 1 for Newcastle, 66% possession. They've had 6 shots on goal. Here is Fabian Scher trying to get on the end of that corner kick from Trippier, but he loops it into the air and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. This is Talksport.
I think you just get a feeling that Newcastle were getting more and more into the game and starting to dominate the game a little bit.
He is the game changer, Callum Wilson. And he's certainly changed not only this match, but the mood inside the stadium as well, with that brilliant penalty, right-footed, sliding it at a real rapid velocity into the corner, past the goalkeeper Joel Robles, and it's 1-1 as we approach half-time on Talksport. Newcastle have picked up on the road in 2022. They have won 4 of the last 5 away from St James's Park after a slow start to the season on their travels. And Bamford's just lost the ball and it's gone behind and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. And you just wonder whether or not his confidence will be knocked by that incident, missing the penalty.
Well, what he's done there, Sam, and top players make the game easy, I understand that, but a lofted ball's come up, he's running towards the opposition goal, the ball's coming over his left shoulder, and he's trying to help it on and make a pass all in one go. It's impossible. Pelé couldn't do that, so if Pelé can't do it, don't try and do it if you're Bamford.
Trippier taking the ball into the Leeds half. Leeds come away with it until Bruno Guimaraes smashes into Jack Harrison. It launches into the air. Joel Robles brings it down. Joel Robles turns to the crowd and says, calm down, everyone just calm down. I don't know why he's getting involved in conducting the orchestra. He's only played 2 games. Don't get carried away, fella. You're not part of the furniture yet. Here is Wilson.
Maybe he's heard your time-wasting package, you know what I mean? Just wants to slow the game down.
Oh, wasting time. McKennie on the ball, had it robbed by Wilson, but then Greenwood reacted quicker than Joel Linton and streams forward. Didn't look at his wing mirrors because Almiron was coming, and Almiron has pinched it. And now Newcastle have got it back and they've turned it round. Over the top it goes towards Willock, away by Christensen. And Leeds have it back in the sunshine once again. 5 minutes to go. It's a bit topsy-turvy, this game, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. I feel a bit sorry for Greenwood then. He's driving with the ball and Harrison's narrowed off, and I think he should have just kept his width and offered a passing channel.
Railing with a poor ball in towards the edge of the penalty area, listening to Talksport. And it's Leeds United 1, Newcastle 1 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7 in your corner throughout your car buying journey. So it's Car Finance 24/7 today. Newcastle have it deep inside their own half. They're playing out from the back here with 5 minutes to go before the conclusion of the first 45 minutes, which has seen Leeds take the lead after a mistake by Pope. Bamford miss a penalty kick after a challenge by Joel Linton. And then 3 minutes and 23 seconds after he'd missed the penalty, Callum Wilson converted a penalty at the other end after a foul by Verba. That's some turnaround, isn't it? 3 minutes, 23 seconds.
Well, absolutely critical. It's amazing. It's quiet in the stadium down a bit. There'll be a party bouncing here now if that goal from, or the penalty from Bamford would have hit the net, I'm sure.
Yep. And the Opta supercomputer gave Leeds a 75% chance of being relegated before today's game. If they don't win it, it'll be a lot more than that. Here is Bruno Guimaraes out towards the wide right side, picking out Almiron, who travels up towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area in Newcastle blue and gold today. And it's tucked down the right side into the path of Bruno Guimaraes in his bright orange boots. He goes back to Trippier. Now Joel Linton weaves his way past one challenge, plays it into the centre. Wilson was almost in behind there. Robles had to come and clear, but there was a steaming challenge from Koch, which was a foul just prior to that ball forward by Joel Linton. And Joel Linton had the ability to play the ball and then get crashed into by Koch. And that's a free kick, a good 15-20 yards outside the penalty area on the wide right-hand side.
Yeah, as I say, the late challenge, just taking his leg slightly, and then a late challenge after that. Probably 2 late challenges on Joe Linton, but the pass he supplied just after that, unfortunate that it didn't arrive at Isaac's feet, or beyond that, Wilson, the other side of the back line, was close to getting onto it.
Tomorrow we'll bring you the Women's FA Cup final live from Wembley, as well as all the playoff games as they unfold on Talksport and Talksport 2. Here's a free kick for Newcastle. Trippier dripping it towards the far post, looking for the head of Sven Botman. It's just a little bit too high for him. That's how high it was. He's absolutely massive, and it drops over the top and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
It's interesting, you know, Ayling at the moment, he's chased the ball out and just shepherded it out of play, and it's gone out somewhere near 10 metres away from the corner flag, and the ball's right at his feet, and he could roll it back to his goalkeeper to take the goal kick.
Oh, he could.
But he's just left it in the corner, and his goal is that to come all the way, and you think, oh, you're happy just taking a point today as you Leeds? Is that the mentality that they've got?
So you think that they should be getting the game restarted quicker in order to try and get another go on the game?
Well, all I'm saying is their next game's away from home, and so chances are that's going to be tougher than this one potentially.
Ball sent over the top for Bamford to chase with Scher. He gets there first, brings it infield. He's got options here. He sets up Greenwood, edge of the D, right-footed, balloons it. Just needed a little bit more culture there, didn't he, Sam Greenwood, when running onto the ball. It was well held up by Bamford, who turned it infield. It was a long ball down the middle of the park. He went chasing into the left channel, cut back infield, set up Greenwood nicely, and he ballooned it over the top of the crossbar.
I've got to say, really, really poor effort, but everything that's been half decent, and I include the goal on this that's come from Leeds, has probably had to go through Bamford at one stage. That's how important a centre-forward is in any team.
He created the first goal, really, didn't he, with a cross from the left-hand side after standing it up in the left wing position, turning it into the area. Rodrigo's header saved and spilt by Pope. But it's Newcastle are coming forward now with Joel Linton up towards the edge of the area. Wide left to Willock. Willock inside the boxes, met and engaged by Ayling and then driven outside the area. He takes on Ayling again. Ayling just strong arms him off the ball. Willock goes down, and an awkward fall might have hurt himself. It's kicked out by Ayling, and it is going to be a Newcastle throw-in on the far side. The referee has said play on. Now Ayling actually kicked the ball out so that Willock could get treatment. The referee just said play on, and Newcastle have taken advantage of that. Wilson now edge of the area, picked up by Rodrigo, who smacks it into the air, and he ain't happy, Luke Ayling, about that as the ball now drops, and Botman strong arms Bamford to the floor. Referee says play on. It's an old-fashioned throwback game, this one. I said when we walked into the stadium, it felt like 1985 when you had Kate Bush being played out of the tannoy and this stand. Well, let's just say it's seen better days. Stuart Pearce said that seat over there has definitely been sat on watching Billy Bremner.
There's no doubt. There's some old wooden ones to our left-hand side here, that is for sure.
It produces a raucous atmosphere. They've got a fan base that will roar the team on, but it may be a terrifically boisterous place to watch football, but it's creaky, it's clunky, the infrastructure. It's iron girders, an old-fashioned roof supported by thick steel poles, and there are a lot of old wooden seats that flap up and down away to our left-hand side as well. Ball is on the right side with Albaran for Newcastle, into the area, tries to curve one to the far post, and Robles went diving to his right-hand side, but it was always veering away from the upright.
I'll tell you what, Newcastle have got in behind Leeds' midfield too readily, and they've certainly got in behind their back line too readily as well.
And it's flared up with Ayling and Byrne because of that throw-in.
Yeah, and I think it was poor from Newcastle, I really do. Ayling's kicked the ball out of play because Willock was down, and Newcastle just played on from it.
And I'll give you a gamble. There's two members of the coaching staffs who are having a confrontation about it on the edge of each other's technical area at this moment in time. Do you want to tell me who they are?
I don't recognise either of Jason or Carl. I don't recognise either of them.
Carl Robinson and Jason Tyndall firmly in conversation, let's just put it that way.
The club's attaches, you know.
It's all right, they've got diplomatic immunity. Yeah. It's a goal kick which Joel Robles has taken about 3 minutes to spot and then re-spotted away to our left-hand side. Simon Hooper's added 2 minutes on at the end of the first half, just 2 minutes on at the end of the first half. The ball's cleared downfield. We're nearly through those 2 minutes. In fact, we are through those 2 minutes, and Simon Hooper will now blow his whistle at the end of what was a very interesting first 45 minutes. It could have been oh so different for Newcastle and for Leeds United had Patrick Bamford scored the penalty that would have made it 2-0, but they roared back at the other end just 3 minutes and 23 seconds later with a goal from Callum Wilson, which has levelled things up. Patrick Bamford will feel disappointed that Leeds haven't already got 1 foot further outside the relegation zone. That scenario where he missed the penalty at one end and then Callum Wilson scored at another one meant they dropped 2 places in the table and under the dreaded line. At half-time, it's Leeds United 1, Newcastle 1.
Sam Matchface, thank you very much. Yes, that's how precarious it is at this stage of the season, at this point in this game as well. Stuart, it's beyond comprehension, isn't it, really, to miss that penalty, and then 3 minutes 23 seconds later you concede one, or you let another goal in. Now they're suddenly at 1-1. It makes the job so much harder, doesn't it?
Yeah, as I say, Leeds done well, and especially Bamford, to help create the goal for Ayling to score. And once you get yourself in that position, you can see the confidence coming into the Leeds group.
Yeah.
The fans are at it then. Then all of a sudden the ball's on the penalty spot. You've got a chance to make it 2-0. You miss the penalty. You can live with that. Okay.
Yeah, but
the mistake,
it
wasn't a conceding a penalty. It was such a bad challenge. It really was.
It was Firpo, wasn't it? Was it Firpo? Verba with the challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, it was difficult for the Leeds United fans. It's taken the wind out of their sails a little bit, hasn't it? Everything sort of calmed down, and it's just that golden opportunity to go ahead. What is Stan going to be able to do in the second half? What can he do? Because a point is still a decent result. It might not keep them in the division, but it's still something. But to be on the brink of 3 and then...
Let's make no mistake, they've got to come away from today's game not being beaten. If they do, they're obviously on the road in the next game. Couple of games left, they're beholden to other results elsewhere. They've got to make sure they get something out the game. Primarily, stop the ball going in your net. To do that, you've got a point now. To do that, they've got to make sure that the space in front of the back four has got to be filled up a little bit, because I think Isaac and Willock have got into good areas there, and the give and goes around the box. Too many Newcastle players can get in behind Leeds' back line because they're ball watching on the give and go.
And as you say, they're beholden to other results, and that is the crucial point, isn't it? Okay, it's also half-time in the Old Firm match at Ibrox in the Scottish Premiership. Watching the Talksport's David Tanner.
It's Rangers 2, Celtic 0 at the break. The champions have rotated their squad, and the changes have not had the desired effect for Ange Postecoglou. Rangers pressed Celtic right from kick-off, and they took the lead just 5 minutes in. John Lundstrom cracked a 25-yarder, which Joe Hart could only parry, and Todd Cantwell reacted first and smashed the ball through the legs of the former England number 1. Celtic then found their feet and should have equalised. On the counter-attack, striker O did the hard bit by chipping goalie Robbie McCrory, but his aim was out and the post protected Rangers' lead. The second goal came 10 minutes before the break. Centre-back John Souttar, whose error cost Rangers a win at Parkhead last month, scored with a header following a James Tavernier out-swinging corner. At half-time at Ibrox, it's Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
David Tanner, thank you very much. A huge game taking place at Ibrox at exactly the same time as a huge one taking place here at Elland Road. It is half-time, though. It is honours even. Leeds United 1, Newcastle United 1. For Leeds, it's definitely not enough if they're to pursue their dreams to stay in the Premier League. Newcastle, of course, chasing Champions League football, consolidating that top 4 place as well. Huge 45 minutes coming up very shortly for Sam Allardyce and his Leeds United side. That's coming up after this.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. They'll take care of the money stuff, so you can focus on finding your dream car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender.
In sport, what's just as important as the goals, the glory, the roar of the crowd? Yes, it's the half-time break. Time for a breather, a reset, to keep everything on track. In sports betting, Betfair's safer gambling tools help you do that too. Like timeouts, so you take that all-important half-time break. Or deposit limits, to help you keep count. Manage your play at safergambling.betfair.com. Simple ways to stay on top of your game with Betfair.
18+ begambleaware.org.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In May, we've got Stone Market Natural Stone Paving Project Packs at £18.99 per square metre ex VAT. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
Rodri to De Bruyne, flicked onto Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no Arutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
For all the top Premier League analysis,
Listen to The Game, the Premier Football podcast from The Times. Every Monday and Thursday, join Hugh Woosencroft and a host of big-name guests for in-depth reaction and opinion on the latest action and the biggest issues in the world of football.
It's a massive goal!
Hear previews of all the upcoming matches and provocative and compelling opinions from some of the finest football writers from The Times and The Sunday Times.
Lovely bit of football!
Listen to The Game on the free Times Radio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
And he's barreled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar, past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result!
Enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in! Conditions apply. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast, so make time for you time with Just Eat. For early times, lunch times, late times, strange times. The perfect times for the McDonald's sausage and egg McMuffin, Five Guys cheeseburger and strawberry shake, Domino's pepperoni passion, plus more from Costa Coffee, Creams Cafe and Pizza Express. So order now, later, in a bit, whenever. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Product subject to availability in restaurant and serving times. Participating stores only. See justeat.co.uk for details.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with a Now Sports membership. Stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Game day. Feel the passion and the pride of the Premier League.
Oh, it's a stunning goal!
Game day exclusive
on Talksport.
Hello there, it's Game Day exclusive on Talksport, and it is half-time between Leeds United and Newcastle, a goal apiece. That's not going to be enough for Leeds United, is it? They've dropped back into the relegation zone after conceding Callum Wilson's penalty and after missing one at the other end. Let's get the latest now from Betfair, shall we? The official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Sam Rossbottom from Betfair. I mean, look, at one point it looked as though Leeds could take a 2-0 lead into this game. And obviously it didn't turn out that way. Patrick Bamford missed that penalty. They went on to concede another one 3 minutes and 23 seconds after that penalty miss. Callum Wilson levelled it up at 1-1. What does that all do for the odds in a game that has been end-to-end?
Yeah, if you could sum up why we love the Premier League in 45 minutes, I think it would be that one, wouldn't it? Maybe not Leeds fans, so to say, but certainly for the neutrals, what a first half of football that has been. Newcastle back into favourites to win the game after Callum Wilson converted that penalty. They're now 20-23, the Magpies, to take all 3 points. The draw, as things stand, currently 1-1. That's 15-8. Leeds now 9-2. Callum Wilson did put the ball into the back of the net, which is what Bamford didn't do. And for Callum Wilson to score again in this game, we've odds boosted that of him to get a second goal in the match. That is 11-4 now.
He's the first Newcastle player to score 16-plus Premier League goals since Demba Ba in the 2011-2012 season. So it's all looking good for Callum Wilson, isn't it? Certainly the odds are reflecting that. Charity bet, Sam, any update on that?
Yeah, so just a reminder, we've got a bet builder on this game. We've combined 3 selections into one bet. The draw, both teams to score, which is looking pretty good so far. But we've also got Alexander Isak in there to have a shot on target. We have backed all 3 selections into one bet with the bet builder. We backed that at just over 5-1, so our £50 charity stake could return £309 if things stay the same and Isak gets a shot on target. A little bit to do still going into the second half.
Yeah, indeed. Sam Rossbottom, as always, good to talk to you. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. Go to begambleaware.org.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Now over on Talksport 2 from 3 p.m. it is Bolton against Barnsley in League One, in the League One playoff, I should say. Here on Talksport, though, we have exclusive commentary of Aston Villa against Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. That's hosted by Adrian Durham, who's at Wembley. A lot to get your head around. He's actually at Wembley for the National League playoff final for Notts County against Chesterfield. That's a huge game in itself. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first of all, Adrian, hashtag about last night. Tell me, are you still on cloud nine?
It's only half time in the tie.
No, I know.
I must stress that. It will be the most spectacular choke of all time, wouldn't it? A lot of people have said to me that it can't possibly happen. It's all over. As a former Sheffield United manager messaged me earlier today, it's Roy Orbison. I sent back a question mark. He said, it's over.
Oh.
So, and he was very pleased as well. Listen, I was there as a fan, actually, and it was I have to say,
it's kind of nice, isn't it? A nice little change.
Yeah, I've been watching Peterborough since 1976, and that's the best performance and best atmosphere I've ever witnessed. So. And to pull that off after scraping into the playoffs, that was something very, very special.
What an absolute shock. I think it's incredible, and as you say, for a fan like yourself, that's an incredible game to see. Yes, it is half-time, but it's looking good.
One thing I would say, though, Resh, is the Sheffield Wednesday players went over to their fans and they sang at their players, "You're not fit to wear the shirt," and it was a quick about turn from the players. I think that over the course of the next 5 or 6 days will be a motivator for them. So it's just to watch out. Listen, if Sheffield Wednesday are 2 up inside 10 minutes on Thursday night, all of a sudden there's a bit of panic. So, I really genuinely am not thinking that we're there at Wembley yet.
All right, well, I'm not going to say too much on it because I know if it was my team, I'd be exactly the same. But then the team I support is Spurs, so let's not even go there. First of all, I'm going to ask you about the National League playoffs. Notts County versus Chesterfield. What a story for Notts County as well. I mean, obviously, Wrexham have already, they're home and dry, but what a game in store.
Absolutely. Listen, Notts County could make history here today by becoming the first team to get over 100 points in the regular National League season and still not go up. They got 107, which is more than anybody this century has got. Even champions. There's only 5 other teams got 100 points. Other than Wrexham. So Notts County are an incredible company, but they might not go up. But that's the jeopardy of it, and that's what's made it such a fascinating season, arguably the best National League season ever. It was Notts County second, Chesterfield third, so it's the right teams at Wembley if you're interested in fairness. But I think we're in for a cracking game with loads of goals, so Q and 0-0.
Absolutely cracking game. I can't say the same about the game at Villa Park, though. That's our 3 p.m. commentary, of course. Aston Villa taking on Spurs. Spurs still without a manager, without a sporting director, without a clue, it seems. Away, I should say, to Aston Villa. It doesn't really bode too well. They're sort of scrapping for a potential Europa League place now, but so are Aston Villa.
Yeah, they are. There are European places up for grabs, so it is a big game, no doubt, and we've got a commentary on Talksport. One thing, Kane is having an incredible season, 26 Premier League goals. That would have been enough to win the Golden Boot in the last 4 seasons. It's his best season since he got 30 in 17-18, so best season for 5 years. And it just showed, for me, that epitomises what's wrong with Tottenham. They've got this brilliant goal scorer, and they haven't managed to build a team, a squad, a club, or anything remotely in 5 or 6 years or more of having him. And I think that those who run the club should be looking at themselves and think, wow, we have let the fans down with a massive missed opportunity. Villa, though, great season, whatever happens. They could finish top 10 for the first time in 12 years. So I think it's a big game. Leeds, Newcastle, you're at the moment is huge. And I think Forest will be looking at that because they're at Chelsea. Another huge game. 2 wins in 3 for Forest. And Palace, Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth's away record, phenomenal. And Gary O'Neill, for me, one of the managers.
What an incredible job. Absolutely. So much jeopardy in all of these games in the Premier League. But, of course, at the game that you're at as well, the National League playoff final. Adrian Durham, great to talk to you as always here at Ellen Road. The sun is still out. The music is blaring. The fans are still hopeful that they can get something in this game, and they really need it, don't they, if they want to stay in the Premier League. Kickoff is just about to start for this second half. I hand you back to our commentary team, Stuart Pearce, but first, Sam Matterface.
Yeah, big day, isn't it, in the Premier League today, with so many games taking place on this Saturday afternoon, except for the one that Pep Guardiola wanted to be played on Saturday afternoon. his game against Everton next tomorrow is moved because of Eurovision, because there wasn't enough police around to look after the game at Goodison Park and the M&S Arena, where Eurovision is taking place down on Albert Dock. We're underway here in the beautiful city of Leeds, with the sun shining, and Leeds United hoping to try and get back in front after missing the opportunity to double their lead just prior to Callum Wilson equalising for Newcastle United. It's 1-1, and they have made a change. Sam Greenwood has been replaced by Adam Forshaw. Stuart Pearce?
Yeah, as I say, probably Greenwood missed a couple of opportunities. I didn't think we'd done too badly in the game, but Forshaw obviously started at Man City last week, I believe, you know, so he's come back into the fold. And I'm just looking at the league table and Leeds' woes this year, if you like. They've conceded more goals than anyone, 70 goals as of this moment in time, you know. They've scored pretty well. There's only Leicester that have scored more goals in the bottom half of the league.
Isaac sends the ball out towards the right-hand side, looking for Wilson. Wilson taking on Verber, gets nudged to the floor. It's going to be a free kick down in front of the assistant Adrian Holmes on this near side. Newcastle have got a very good record here, having won 7 of their last 13 visits to Adam Road. Not many sides have that sort of Premier League record at this stadium.
I'll tell you what, I've just watched Verber again. He's given a penalty away probably 20 minutes ago. He's got Callum Wilson right out on the touchline. You get across as quick as you can and you jockey and stay on your feet. He had one thing on his mind: get the tackle out the way as quickly as possible. It was an awful challenge, not as in a vicious one, but just really rank defending.
Clumsy.
When you're last man, you can't do things like that.
He's given away a free kick, which again has been a sort of tail of the tape really, and Newcastle haven't maximised them so far, but there is an opportunity here, right-footed, to swing the ball in towards the far post. Oh, Joe Robles has been caught out slightly there, and the ball is headed behind by Joel Linton, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. But Robles came to try and collect that, punched the ball into the air, and then didn't really know where it was going to go next.
No, I think he had movement across his front line. Shah, I think it was, went across his eye line and probably put him off slightly. But it's that defensive record, and that's the thing you fear for with not just in the long term, but in the short term with Leeds, that they can't keep the ball out of their net for another 45 minutes.
Well, that's what Sam Allardyce has been talking about, isn't it? You know, he's saying, you know, anywhere you go, clean sheets, best defences, they win leagues, they win points. But that's been a problem for Leeds as Forshaw tries to release McKennie on the edge of the area as Leeds come forward. And Forshaw just adds a little bit of driving force to that midfield and tries to push them further up the pitch, and a little bit of energy. We played 3 minutes of the second half. The white shirts, white shorts and white socks of Leeds United attacking the goal away to our left. I'll go through the two lineups for you again in just a second. There is a throw-in on the far side to be taken by Weston McKennie, and he has been slingshotting the ball into the box from quite some way out, and he's doing it again towards Koch this time, but Pope comes out and grabs the ball high in the air and pulls it into his chest. His emerald green goalkeeping uniform is shining under the sunlight here. The boys back at base are questioning my use of the word emerald there. I think emerald's quite a good description of that, don't you?
I would associate emerald with being slightly darker.
Darker green? Maybe a little bit. No, I don't think it's blue.
He's just making words up now, isn't he, our producer? He just is.
Here is Bamford clipping the ball towards the edge of the 18-yard box. He was whispering colours in our ear then as we were discussing what Nick Pope was wearing. The ball cleared away upfield by Leeds, up towards the Newcastle defence. Scher heads it forward. There's a bit of head tennis between Koch and Scher, and then it comes to Verber, who nudges it forward, and Byrne tackles Rodrigo. Bit scrappy. Koch with a curling ball out to the far side, brought down by Ayling, tucks it back in field. Forshaw's got it now. 5 minutes gone, second half. Leeds with Joel Robles in goal, Ayling, Christensen, Koch, Verber and Firpo. Koch wandering into midfield, spending most of his time there actually. McKennie, Harrison and Forshaw in the midfield. Here's the ball into the box. Bamford touches it back to Koch, couldn't control it, and it's cleared away to the far side. Bamford and Rodrigo up top for Leeds. The ball is on the far touchline with Rodrigo, who's keeping hold of it, but he was pulling Joel Willock and has given away a free kick.
I complained about Bamford in the first half. Ball coming over his shoulder. He's trying to play a pass. Now, the ball's been whipped in brilliantly into the box. He's around the penalty spot. I think he's trying to lay that off first time. I think you've just got to stop the ball. And then the second pass, you either play off, or if the defender commits, you turn and get a shot away.
So why is he rushing it? Is it because he just wants to get it over and done with?
I just think it's probably a little lack of confidence.
Ball's gone in behind the Leeds defence. Willock was darting in there, almost got there. Across comes Ayling. The game doesn't stop for a second, does it? I mean, it might be out of play for a little bit here and there, but ultimately, as soon as one team has it, they're on the attack. And here is Bruno Guimaraes, right side, taking on Forshaw, beats him easily, slides it to the edge of the box. It comes around the corner, comes back to Wilson on the volley on the edge of the area, strikes it, and then was the victim of a challenge just inside the box. And Dan Burn is asking the question to Simon Hooper, why is that not a penalty?
It's interesting. No, not for me. As I say, he might have caught the Leeds defender on the follow through, but I don't think there's anything there, enough there. No, not for me.
Callum Wilson certainly feels aggrieved by it. And Simon Hooper has just delayed the restart of the action. And Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall are asking Graham Scott why that isn't the case, and he's explaining it, the fourth official, to the assistant and the manager of Newcastle United, and we are going to get the corner kick. I think Wilson just had a little wink to one of his teammates as well, so he knew what was going on. Here is Trippier, right-footed from the corner towards the far post. It drops inside the box off Wilson's head, took a little deflection. I thought that came off a Leeds shirt and went behind. Callum Wilson did as well, and is asking Simon Hooper to review his decision. He's not going to. He's going to give a goal kick away to our right-hand side. 7 minutes gone in the second half. Pope is the Newcastle goalkeeper. Trippier, Cher, Botman and Byrne. And then it's Joel Linton, Bruno and Willock. Almiron, Wilson and Isaac are the three up top for Newcastle United. Have you been slightly underwhelmed by Newcastle United, bearing in mind that they do need to put points on the board to make sure they stay in the Champions League places?
Yeah, for twofold reasons. Rightly what you say, there's teams chasing them and they need to finish. They deserve to finish, I think, in the Champions League places. But the highs that they've reached this season in how they've played has not been matched by the performance today, it's fair to say.
Talksport. Here come Newcastle away on our right hand side, and it's picked up by Joel Linton into Bruno Guimaraes, who slides it out to Kieran Trippier, who moves up towards the halfway line. He chips the ball forward into no man's land, really. It's away by Verber, picked up by Harrison. He missed it completely, but then so did Cher as a result of that. It went through to Bamford, who again didn't realise that Almiron was behind him. Sucks it forward. Firpo off to Harrison, left side, leads on the attack. It's a bit skittish, but they're moving forward up the field. And Firpo gets towards the edge of the area, bounds into the box, dives to the floor, wants a penalty that he's not ever going to get. And then it's cleared by Newcastle United. Joel Linton into the body of Forshaw, and then he cracks into a challenge with Wilson. He was never going to give that up, and Harrison now picks up the loose ball, left side, darting down the touchline. It's blood and thunder stuff now. It's all energy, lacking a little bit of poise when they get to the final third. Leeds United actually managed to carve open Newcastle there, but Firpo getting into the box, Stuart, and then just seemed to wilt under the heat of the run that he'd put in up until that point and just collapsed to the floor.
Yeah, Trippier done well, to be fair to him. He got there first, he got his body slightly in front of Firpo, and which didn't happen with Joe Linton in the first half, hence the penalty.
55 on the clock. Could be an incredible last 35 minutes here that might change the course of the Premier League season. Leeds have kept 2 clean sheets in 2023, have conceded more goals than anyone else in the calendar year. It's one of the reasons why they dropped Ilian Meslier. He should have conceded 12.1 goals fewer than he has, according to the number bashers and stat people. And Joel Roberts hasn't had too much to do so far today, apart from the penalty.
It looks a game where neither team are fully at it, and there's a game to be won by either side.
Down the right side, tries to get across into the box. Firpo manages to block it. It goes out and it's away for a corner. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think if this ends a draw for both teams will look and say, we could have won that today, gentlemen, you know.
I think Eddie Howe is thinking about bringing on Alan Samat. Here is the corner kick for Newcastle in front of the Norman Hunter stand. In front of his supporters, his travelling supporters from Newcastle. Right-footed, Trippier sends across towards the back post this time. Headed down by Cher. Cleared at the post by Rodrigo. Back forward by Willock towards the edge of the box, and now Almiron's got space. He slides it down the penalty area. Trippier with another cross, flicked away, comes back towards Cher, strikes it first time. It's then Bruno Guimaraes on the volley, but that's terrible. Goalkeeper comes out and gets into a congested area, manages to get enough on it to punch it out of the blocks, and it comes back in from Sven Botman, picked up by Weston McKennie though, and sent wide towards the right, and Rodrigo now is on the scamper and on the counter-attack for Leeds. He moves to the edge of the area, in towards Harrison, steps over it, allows it to run through to Bamford. Bamford, what is he doing? He plays it straight against Byrne, and it comes back and hits his hand.
This is where, if you're not full of confidence, you make poor decisions. Bamford's picked it up, the shot was never on, he's never manipulated the ball to create space, and he's just kicked it straight at the defender. And you can hear the frustration with the fans, you know. If things are not going well, keep it simple, find a teammate.
1-1 the score, live on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget, with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Everton Man City and Everton Brighton live tomorrow for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. When Newcastle drew 0-0 here on New Year's Eve, they dominated the game. Almiron and Cher missed great chances. They had a penalty appeal turned down, actually. And they've just got a booking for Bruno Guimaraes for a foul. Adam Forshaw's just taking off his Under Armour. He's a little bit too hot. He didn't read the forecast. He should have got our producer Deck to give him the AccuWeather read. He told all of us to turn up here in our shorts and our swimming costumes because it was going to be 19 degrees and sunshine. Forgot that we were sitting in the shade and coming up at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was about -19 when we sat down, Stuart.
It certainly was chilly in here, wasn't it? You know, but it's good to see the referee there brandishing it. It was a clear dive, and booked rightly so.
Bruno Guimaraes goes into the referee's notebook, the first and only so far in there, as the ball's won by Ayling on halfway. It's sent forward towards the middle of the park, collected now by Weston McKennie, forward by Koch, back again to the left-hand side from Koch out to Harrison, who's low ball into the near post. It's not attacked by anyone, it's swiped away by Cher, but it wasn't very good. And then it's cleared out towards the far side, and Willock went behind him. And Newcastle eventually escaped over the halfway line after Ayling dived in. And now Willock is scampering forward. He's taking on Christensen. He's going to beat him too. Robles has to come out towards the edge of his area. And he slides through the penalty area and gets there just ahead of Joe Willock, whose run started in the left fullback position for Newcastle United and ended up right in the opposition penalty area.
Yeah, why do you concede 70 goals? Because Ayling dives in the opposition's half, and then the centre half behind him comes and dives in.
Oh, that was a really late challenge by Firpo on Bruno Guimaraes on halfway. He went in, it was a little bit high. Kieran Trippier is pointing out that that's not the first time, and Simon Huber's got a big decision to make here. VAR will be looking at it. In fact, he's taking advice from the VAR and the fourth official here. He's giving himself time. It's just a yellow card for Junior Firpo. I think he's a very lucky boy.
Yeah, as I say, it looked pretty bad. I think he stretched for the first one, and then he's
left the ground
through.
He's completely left the ground.
Well, if you want to put a paragraph from the Referees Association and associate it to a red card, that probably ticks a lot of boxes.
Well, VAR are looking at it, and I think VAR are going to advise him to have a look at the monitor, because the thing is that we have been told time and time and again, if you're out of control of your body, then that is going to be deemed as a red card, and that was high. He kept his foot low, actually. He kept it low, and the impact was just on top of the foot, but he was miles after the ball, nowhere near the ball.
It's got to be a red card, I think. If it's not, then there's every chance that come Monday morning you're going to look and say, well, why wasn't it?
Well, we've got the fortune of having Howard Webb in with White and Jordan at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and he's going to review some of these big decisions.
I don't think this is being reviewed, is it now?
No.
I'm surprised at that. Very, very surprised.
I can imagine right now Jim White is just scrambling for a bit of paper and a pen to write down, OK, why did the referee not send off Junior Firpo? Let's ask Howard Webb on Tuesday. He'll be on Talksport.
But once again, it was poor play.
That is a roar for Willie Nonto. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, that's just poor play. The challenge we saw could put in jeopardy this result today.
Offside flag is up as the free kick went in. Willie Nonto getting readied, and that's why you heard a big roar from the crowd. And those are the incidents you were talking about with Ayling, diving in on the far side. That leaves you open. Yeah. Diving in that sort of zone gets you a player sent off.
You know, the penalty, awful challenge. And
the Weston McKennie incident, which could have generated another penalty.
Yeah, they've contributed to their own downfall, if you like, Leeds, within this game.
Can they hold on? A point here would be valuable. It wouldn't be anywhere near enough to keep them safe, but it would be a platform on which to build. It would give them hope. But Willock is dancing down the left touchline for Newcastle, in toward Isaac. It's punched away by Robles, who came out well. It goes back to the far side. Now it's with Dan Burn. Tall and lanky, plays the ball square onto Joel Willock, who weaves and moves towards the edge of the box, goes down under Forshaw's challenge, wants a free kick, not going to get it. It's hacked away into the afternoon sky by the Leeds defence. It bounces once inside the Newcastle half of the field, and then they start to move forward once again. I think Newcastle are going to make a substitution in the not too distant future as well.
Well, I don't know how a point for Newcastle will be viewed in the scheme of wanting to finish in the position they're currently occupying.
Well, this will give them 66 points if it stays as is, which will be 3 points more than Manchester United, and they have a greater goal difference, but Manchester United will have a game in hand. They have a 4-point cushion to Liverpool. I suppose with 3 games left of the season, you'd think a 4-point cushion is enough to get you a Champions League place. You would have thought. Koch dives in, gives it to Harrison. A low ball in towards the near post. It's another ball into the near post that no one's attacked. It's away by Cher. Koch makes himself useful. Comes back to McKennie on the edge of the box, and it's cleared over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, very scrappy, poor ball in once again. Harrison's done really well to get in a crossing position, and once again he's not beaten the first man.
I think actually Robin Koch has been a lot more useful in that midfield position than any of the other players that have played there over the course of the season so far for Leeds United. They missed Tyler Adams so much, and they've been playing Rocker and McKennie in there, and it hasn't worked. But the idea of having Koch and Forshaw in the middle of the park in this second half has looked a little bit more solid, I think. Here's Firpo, back to the goalkeeper Robles. Oh, terrible clearance by him that goes straight out for a throw-in on this near side. And there's going to be a substitution. Here it is, Jack Harrison now coming off. I think that Newcastle have been a little underwhelming, and Sam Allardyce thinks there might be something in this for them.
Well, as I say, it just depends how you view a point, and taking up one of your home fixtures in a run-in, where the home form of all the teams in the bottom of the division is going to be absolutely critical in regard to keeping them in or dropping them out of the division.
Nonto on the second substitute for Leeds United, and he'll come out towards the left-hand side, I think. I think we saw him last week. He played on the right, and he wasn't as effective.
No, I was really disappointed with him last week. I think early season he's been pretty effective, but playing on this left-hand side, cutting inside.
Throw-in to be taken by Kieran Trippier. Newcastle on the attack. 1-1 is the score. The ball sent in towards the penalty area. It's headed further on by Bruno Guimaraes. It drops on the right side of the box. Willie Nonto trying to win it. Trippier is there. Goes to Almiron. This will not be enough to take Leeds out of the relegation zone. And it will only do a little bit for Newcastle. You know, just a little incremental step forward for them. And nothing more than that. As the ball goes towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area. They need 7 points to guarantee Champions League football. Here is Wilson, edge of the box, turns, tries to get it across the area, but has to go wide and outside it as Newcastle come forward again with Guimaraes. Plays a little 1-2 with Isaac. Into the area it goes. Isaac's on the edge of the area, can't quite get hold of it. He's fighting for it. It comes to Joel Linton. There's a shout for a foul. It didn't go Leeds United's way, and the fans aren't happy about it. Comes back into the box from the left-hand side. Now it's with Willock into the area. Isaac's at the far post, tries to head it goalwards, and then there's a claim of a handball. inside the area. Isak is absolutely certain about it. He's screaming for a handball. Well, certainly a hand went up. It did touch the fingers. That's got to be a penalty.
I'll tell you what.
It has to be a penalty.
If there's contact at all there, his arms...
It has to be a penalty.
Yeah.
It's got to be a penalty. It's a handball. The left hand went up. Who is it who touched it? Was it Junior Firpo whose hand's gone up? Almost Luke Shaw style in the game against Brighton. It's got to be a penalty.
I've got to say...
What on earth is he doing?
Leeds, and I'll bark on about it today, Leeds have contributed to getting beat. I don't think Newcastle have been that good today, but Leeds give two penalties away now, Sam. You can't do that.
Well, it's still not confirmed, but it's got to be. It absolutely has to be. There's no doubt about it. I don't even understand why it's taken so long. They're just checking, are they, for an offside? They're checking for an offside. He can't be offside from there anyway. He's not offside. So it's got to be whether or not they're worrying about the contact. And there was contact. It's got to be a handball. It's got to be a penalty. It is.
I don't understand at this stage, why don't VAR just say to the referee it's a penalty? And why does he have to go and check it?
No, because it has to be seen as the sole arbiter of the football match, and he has to be the man who makes the ultimate decision. It's not going to take him too long to make it, because we're seeing him stand at the referee review area and he's going to point to the penalty spot. This is a huge moment in Leeds United's season. They were 1-0 up, they had a chance to go 2-0 up from the penalty spot. They've conceded a penalty in the first half which levelled it up 3 minutes after they missed a spot kick, and now Simon Hooper is getting information which is telling him he should give another penalty. He has done, and now Newcastle have got the opportunity to go in front.
Well, Leeds and Big Sam will be absolutely kicking themselves if they come away from this game having got nothing, because make no mistake, I don't think Newcastle have been good enough to actually win the game, but Leeds have been bad enough to gift them the game.
Well, the Leeds fans are starting to try desperately to get Joel Robles to do what Nick Pope did at the other end. Currently, Joel Robles is standing behind the goal, taking a drink and keeping well out of the way and trying to delay the taking of the kick as long as possible. He's talking to a steward behind the goal and just having a little wander. And Callum Wilson has been given the ball now by Simon Hooper. Simon Hooper can't find the goalkeeper. He doesn't know where he is. Well, in which case, just take it. If he doesn't want to try and save it, he won't. Willie Nonto has gone over to try and disrupt the taker, and he's got a yellow card as a result of that. And now Joel Robles, who went for a wander behind the goal, is now walking up to the penalty spot. He's got a yellow card as well, and he's been told, if you don't get on your line, I'll give you another one and you'll be off. Well done, referee.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what Robles has done there. He's gone behind the goal to add to the security cordon, so I think he's wearing the same colours.
Yep, this is the moment that could turn 2 seasons for Newcastle United. It is an opportunity to cement a place in the Champions League. Joel Robles has come out 7 yards outside his penalty area. He's screaming in the face at Callum Wilson. If he does one more thing wrong, he's going to get sent off. It could be the goal that pushes Leeds further towards the Championship. It's a penalty in front of the Norman Hunter stand for Callum Wilson, who's already scored once from the spot in this game. He puffs out his chest. He does a little run-up. He addresses the ball, right-footed, high down the middle, and scores for Newcastle United. And they've come from behind at Ellen Road to lead Newcastle. And it's a goal from Wilson that keeps the top 4 hopes on track and pushes Leeds to the brink of relegation. Leeds 1, Newcastle 2.
Well, the frustration that certainly Sam and his coaching staff will have now. His team, there's not been much in it. It probably deserve on the run of play potentially to be a draw, but they've given 2 horrific, and I mean horrific, penalties away, and you cannot afford to do that.
Well, the supporters of Leeds are singing "You're not fit to referee." I'm not entirely sure where that's come from. It was a definite penalty. The ire, if the Leeds fans have any, should be directed at Max Verber for his stupid challenge in the first half, and for Junior Firpo for that, I mean, inexplicable handball.
Yeah, exactly that. That underpins probably why Leeds are chasing the game now.
As I mentioned, Robles and Nonto were booked in that penalty exchange, and it's currently Leeds 1, Newcastle 2. The latest odds from Betfair incoming, but here is Wilson down the left-hand side, finding Willock, edge of the box, tries to send it forward, takes a deflection, goes out of play, and it's away for a corner to Leeds. And Joel Robles actually going round his team saying, come on, concentrate, get yourselves back together, because Leeds have got this habit as well. Once they've gone behind, they end up collapsing.
Well, they've shown up to this moment, Sam, let alone collapsing, that they can make poor errors leading to goals, and it's something they're going to have to eradicate, certainly in the rest of this game, and if not, in the running in the remainder two, if they want to stay in the division.
Got tricky fixtures as well to negotiate over the next couple of weeks or so. Leeds United. Here is the corner kick. It's missed by Cher. Comes back towards Joel Willock. Wide on the left is Trippier. Oh, he's completely misplaced that, and it goes out and away for a throw in the right fullback position. So Leeds 1, Newcastle 2 on Talksport. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Leeds to come back and win the game at 40-1. Newcastle to win the game at 8-1 on. Draw now can be backed at 11-2. It's all thanks to Betfair 18+, begambleaware.org. Substitutions taking place. Off comes Callum Wilson. On comes Alan Saint-Maximin. That's the first change. I think the other change is going to be Gordon for Almiron. So let's go round our grounds for the 2 o'clock kickoffs. A busy old day today for Adrian Durham as we go round the grounds on Game Day Live. And let's start with Aston Villa against Spurs. Villa jumping above Spurs with a thumping win today. Who have they selected to try and get it, Joe Shannon?
One change, the side that was beaten at Wolves, Sam. Bailey for Traore in midfield. Tottenham unchanged after their victory over Crystal Palace. We've got live commentary on Talksport from Villa Park at 3 o'clock.
Let's go off to Old Trafford. United will have been monitoring this result, and they know they need to keep winning at home to stay in the Champions League places themselves. John Dunn.
Yeah, they'll have to do it with that injured leading goal scorer Marcus Rashford. Malacia and Weghorst dropped to the bench. In come Rafael Varane, first game back since a 6-game injury absence. Sancho in, Martial in. One change Wolves, it's in goal. Daniel Bentley makes his Premier League debut. Jose Sarr moves to the bench.
Cheers, John. Thank you very much. Ball cleared upfield by Robles and then won well by Sven Botman, who slides it to Cher, and then in turn he finds Trippier back here at Ellen Road, where it is 2-1 to Newcastle United. Leeds, who had the chance to go 2-0 in front, surrendered 2 penalties to Newcastle United, who haven't been particularly creative, which is why I think Stuart Pearce, they've brought on Alan Saint-Maximin and Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, as I say, most of their good works probably come from Leeds' poor defensive work, I would say, but the pitch looks as though the ball's slowing up a little bit. It's not as clinical across the ground, and looks like your typical sort of warm day where it's dried the pitch up.
Yep, let's go off to the game at Stamford Bridge. Forest need points at Chelsea to back up Monday's win. They are abysmal away from home. Lucky for them that Chelsea are on their worst home run since 1988, Ollie Klink.
And 5 changes for Chelsea, Sam, from that win over Bournemouth, including 1 in goal. Mendy comes in for Kepa. Chilwell, Kante, Mudryk and Havertz also make way. In come Kovacic, Hall, Sterling and Felix. As for Forest, 1 change from their victory over Southampton. Brendan Johnson drops to the bench. In comes Joe Worrell.
That is an interesting change, isn't it? And let's go off to Alex Crook, who's watching the game down at the South Coast, St Mary's, where it's probably the day the relegation is going to be confirmed for Saints. Alex?
And it's Paul Onuachu's turn to have his name pulled out of Ruben Sellers' tombola drum. He makes his first start since mid-February. Lianco also comes in for Saints. Fulham unchanged. Mitrovic back from suspension on the bench.
Much riding on the game at Selhurst Park, but Palace have a record points haul to target at least. Charlotte Ratchison.
That's right, Sam. If Palace win their final 3 matches, they will equal their record-breaking Premier League points tally recorded in 2019. Palace make 1 change to their starting 11. Will Hughes in for Jeffrey Schlupp, whilst Bournemouth's 2 changes are both defensive. Chris Mepham starts and Elie Zabarnier is handed his first Premier League start for the Cherries. 3 p.m. kickoff.
Squares it for Saint-Maximin! And it's another goal for Newcastle United, which has now been ruled off for offside. Alexander Isak went steaming down the right. He was through on goal. He went into the penalty area. Oh, it's going to be very, very tight with VAR. and then he went into the box and squared it to the far post. So Maximan was there, and it could have been 3-1. It's been chalked off, Stuart Pearce.
I've got to say, if Newcastle would have fed Isak, who made the run slightly earlier, if they'd have fed him a bit earlier, the goal would have stood. But they delayed with the pass, couldn't get out of their feet. I certainly think it was offside, but Jason Tyndall is still arguing with anyone who will listen at the moment that it was onside.
He's down there screaming, saying that they're, oh my word, what are Leeds United doing here? They've committed far too many men forward, and it's 4-on-3 here, and St. Maximin has fed Isak into the penalty area. He's in the box, he goes down the left-hand side, he pulls it back into the box, he held on to it for far too long, and Joel Robles can come and claim. But they're wide open now, Leeds.
They certainly are, and I was just looking at the recovery run of Verba there. My goodness me. Do you know it's a knockout many years ago, and they used to dress them up as big giants and have to get through a small thing? He was running like one of those big giants. Never seen anything like it.
Ball cleared away upfield by Nick Pope, and Leeds have got it back again inside their own half. Later today, Villa against Tottenham is live on Talksport, and then at 3 o'clock on Talksport 2, we've got the League One playoff semi-final, Bolton against Barnsley, which should be for the right to play Peterborough, really, after what happened last night. Sunderland against Luton is at 5:30 on Talksport 2, and then Salford against Stockport is at 7:45 tonight. Big games in the playoffs still incoming. Here's Anthony Gordon down the right-hand side. Leeds have got very leggy very quickly here.
They've got the pot, Sam, you're right.
It's back out towards the right-hand side. Trippier playing it towards Joel Linton. Joel Linton moving up towards the perimeter of the penalty area. He goes wide towards the right. It's Gordon again. He's got Trippier in support. It's infield towards Bruno Guimaraes, who has the ability to turn. Is anyone going to put a tackle in? Gordon's down the right side. He's in the area now. He's just wandering with the ball at his feet, keeping possession high up inside opposition territory. And they can't get out, Leeds. Now they pick the ball up. And Willie Gnonto tries to bring it clear. He plays it to Rodrigo, who's got his back to goal. And then he swivels and turns it high up towards Ayling. Ayling being chased by St. Maximin. St. Maximin brings the ball away, but the referee has given a free kick to Leeds United over on the far side, 13 minutes to go. And they've got it moving very quickly again. Tomorrow, Coventry against Middlesbrough from the Championship semi-final playoffs is on Talksport at midday. Ball headed behind and away by Trippier. It's out for a corner, and there's a goal in the Old Firm game for Talksport's David Tanner.
15 minutes to go. It's Rangers 3, Celtic 0. Now a mistake by Callum McGregor and Carl Starfelt. Fashion Sakala pounced, rounded Joe Hart to make it Rangers 3, Celtic 0.
What a chaotic day here in the Premier League, especially if you're a fan of Leeds United. You'll be able to call Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahur later on. Here on the left-hand side, Gnonto into the penalty area. Bamford with a header, comes back to inside the box, didn't strike it with any purpose. Then it comes to Christensen on the volley, and in! It's Leeds 2, Newcastle 2. Rasmus Christensen with the goal. It could be huge. It could be massive. It could be the goal that contributes to Leeds staying in the Premier League. It might have been a hit and hope from the edge of the penalty area, but he won't care about that. It's his third goal of the season, but it's his biggest one by far. Gnonto's left-hand side cross headed down by Bamford. He didn't hit it with any conviction, but Rasmus Christensen certainly did. It's 2-2.
Well, it looked for all intents and purposes as though Newcastle were going to get the third, and then the strike from the edge of the box. Trippier's tried to get his head on it, diverted it past Pope. 2-2, all to play for. The game never ceases to amaze me.
Where did that come from? Where on earth did that come from? Let's see what they got now, Leeds. 10 minutes to go. Could be massive. Could be defining. It could be pivotal. The bottom of the table has changed yet again. Moment ago they were below Leicester City. Now they've gone back up above them. And they're 1 point from safety. Christensen clipping the ball towards the near side. Gnonto causing problems again. Trippier is all over him like a rash. He wants a free kick, he's going to get the free kick.
I'm not sure what Trips is doing there. The ball's lofted in the air. He should just go and win it and clear any danger. He's decided to let it bounce, and from that moment on, Nonto with a ball at his feet is going to cause you the odd problem.
Leeds 2, Newcastle 2 on Talksport. A thrilling game at Ellen Road. They often are. Not always, because Leeds are doing particularly well. Their record isn't great at all. But this will be 31 points if Leeds can hold on to it. But what if they were to score a winner? What if Bamford was to score the winner? That would be a story. And he's getting his requests in for a delivery from Adam Forshaw, who's wide on the left, right-footed, sends it in towards Bamford with a header, takes a deflection, and surely that's going to be a corner, hasn't it?
Well, the Leeds players have walked out as though they're convinced it was a goal kick.
Yeah,
no kidology there. And you thought exactly that.
I thought it hit Isaac, didn't it? No, it hit the shoulder of Bamford. It was a poor header. Yeah. Should have done better with it. Leeds 2, Newcastle 2. Sam Allardyce has gone through a range of emotions. He said his wife told him he was mad for getting back involved with this sort of situation.
But she needed a new conservatory, so she said, you get back in there, Big Sam, do your best.
Willock out towards the far side. Newcastle on the attack. St Maximin drives towards the edge of the box, plays it against Koch, and then Koch manages to get hold of it and turn it up towards the halfway line. Bamford's got to hold on to it here. He's got to hold off Botman, who's coming from behind. He's done very well to do so, and he's drawn the free kick.
I'm just waiting for not the next piece of talent that's going to win the game, but the next mistake that's going to cost the game, really, which is a sad way to be.
I know. It's been that sort of afternoon. Let's go off to the game involving Bolton Barnsley in the playoffs and get team news from our commentator on Talksport 2, Adam Bridge.
The home side undo 6 of the 8 changes made last weekend. Jones is ruled out through injury. Charles returns alongside Kachunga, who hasn't scored a league goal in 18 months. Good news for Barnsley. Their captain and player of the season, Mads Anderson, is back after injury. He missed the last 2 games, and he comes in to replace Cotter.
Remember, the playoffs are only on Talksport and Talksport 2. Make sure you download our app. You can flick between the round the ground service this afternoon and that game, which is taking place in the playoffs. What a mistake by Willock to allow Rodrigo to nick the ball inside opposition territory. It's going to run through to Rodrigo again, is it? No. Tackle comes in. Koch dives in. Felt it was being fouled. Nonto switches the play. McKennie towards the right. Drives aiming a little bit too wide. Leeds on the attack. The cross comes in. Rodrigo going towards it. Botman gets it clear. Comes out to Burn on the left edge of the area. And then it's cleared up towards St Maximin. St Maximin holds it up, turns and tries to run past Ayling, who just about does enough to win back possession for Leeds United. We've got 7 minutes to go. Elliot Anderson about to come on for Newcastle. They'll be disappointed because their points tally isn't as healthy as they thought it was going to be at the conclusion of this game. Firpo driving forward from left back. It's away by Cher, on by Koch. Bamford holds it up this time, then dives and wins a foul. It's a free kick 12 yards from the edge of the penalty area to Leeds United. It's Leeds 2, Newcastle 2 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7 in your corner throughout your car buying journey. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
What both teams have failed to work out is this pitch isn't conducive to running with the ball. And so many players have been caught on the ball, getting it stuck under their feet a little bit.
Is that a tactic from Sam? Has he allowed the grass to glow?
Who knows? I didn't see him with a hose pipe in his hand, watering the pitch beforehand, but I think it's naturally the way, you know, there's a bit of sun out here, he's dried the pitch up. It's one of these, get the ball wide, put it in the box. It's one of those days.
Adam Forshaw standing over the free kick, sends it short to Firpo, who then delivers it from a different angle towards the far post. Koch tries to keep it in, can't do so, and it goes straight out of play and out for a goal kick away to our left hand side, and time is ticking away. 6 minutes to go for both Newcastle United, who need the points to stay in the top 4, and they'll be looking nervously over their shoulders. I think because of the games they've got coming up. They've got Brighton on Thursday night. It now becomes a very big game, doesn't it, at home at St James's Park?
I think it certainly does, that Brighton have still got games in hand, albeit a really tough games programme. And the other side of that is I can't see Liverpool not winning all their games in the running with their fixtures they've got coming up, as well as United.
I mean, this is bad news for Leicester, isn't it? Because it gives encouragement to Liverpool. So Liverpool now are sitting there thinking, we've got to win all of our games. They play on Monday Night Live on Talksport on game night. And Leicester, with all certainty now, you would have thought will end up being pushed further towards the Championship. Trippier trying to get hold of the ball, he slipped and then won it. He comes back to Gordon, edge of the box, he slips it to Bruno Guimaraes, who goes wide into the feet of Alan Saint-Maximin, whose shot is saved down low by Joel Robles.
Good goalkeeping there. I'd say the goalkeeper's taking an eternity every time he gets the ball, and I'm not sure why. This point might be a bad point rather than a good point come 2 or 3 games' time.
You don't think it's going to be enough?
I'm not sure.
They got West Ham away and Tottenham at home, their final 2 games of the season.
Yeah, on paper, with West Ham in Europe and Tottenham being a bit hit and miss, you would turn around and say they might not be the worst games, but they might not be the best games either.
Ball cleared away by Leeds United, upfield. It's defended well by Newcastle. A foul by Firpo, free kick. Anderson comes on, Willett comes off, another change. It's worth pointing out that the top end of the table looks like this. Newcastle will be third, 66 points, but with a goal difference of 32 from 35 games. Manchester United play Wolves without Rashford this afternoon, and they've got 63 points from 34. And then come Liverpool, 35 played, 62 points. And that's now become a lot more precarious than it really should have been, bearing in mind that West Ham beat Manchester United last Sunday on Talksport, and they threw away a 2-goal lead at Tottenham Hotspur. Off comes Rodrigo, and on comes Aronson for the final few minutes of the game. And Carl Robinson just wants to try and influence proceedings, and has a quick word with Graham Scott, who is the 4th official. We've only got 3 minutes to go. What do you make of the changes?
Well, before I talk to you about the changes, I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
If you were Leeds and had to win the last game of the season against Liverpool, against Tottenham at home, would you take that now to stay up? You've got to win it. A draw's no good. You've got to win it. Would you take that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you why. Because I think Sam Allardyce has already said, I just want to be in it on the final day of the season. The problem with Leeds is that you never know. You can't trust them, can you? So, I mean, they may have to win both their games eventually in order to stay in the league, depending on what happens elsewhere, because they're not in control of their own destiny, really. I certainly think they'll need to win at least another game after this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think probably 4 points. That 35-point mark is still will be the points total that will keep you in the division.
So they need to get points from every game, because this is a point. Then if they win one more, then that's 34. So to get 35, they're going to need to get something against West Ham and Tottenham.
Indeed.
It's a big ask, isn't it? You know, there'll be West Ham players that are a little bit distracted, maybe, depending on what's happened next Thursday night. We don't know. But it might be that West Ham players are playing for their places in the Conference League team.
Yeah, and the other side of that is West Ham have got Leicester away last game of the season, and if they do get through in Europe, then there could be a case they're resting players at Leicester, which won't help Leeds in any way.
Joel Linton sends the ball wide towards the left-hand side, finds Byrne. Is there a late twist in this game? We're in the 89th minute of the match. Here down the left-hand side, Elliot Anderson with a little swivel, sends across into the box, but it's too high, eludes Gordon and Isaac, and breaks to the near touchline. Nonto is fouled by Isaac, and it's going to be a free kick in the left fullback position. Well, Newcastle's remaining unbeaten against sides in the bottom half of the table, but this could make the last few weeks of the season for them unnecessarily nervy. They've got Brighton at home, Leicester at home, and then Chelsea away. You would think with those fixtures that should be enough for them to get the points required, shouldn't you?
Yeah, you would think so. As I say, the performance today, I think they'll be very disappointed with, if I'm being quite honest with you. I'm looking to my left here. I've got row upon row of Leeds fans, and the pain on their faces is palpable.
Yeah, I think they came in fearing the worst, and actually they're probably going home with more than many of them realistically thought that they would pick up here today, but you just wonder whether or not it's prolonging the agony. 89 minutes on the clock. Bruno Guimaraes has got it. He moves over halfway. He skips it forward. Anthony Gordon is fouled from behind by Junior Firpo. The referee stops. He makes a decision. He gives a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. What a brainless decision from Junior Firpo to make that challenge. He must get a yellow card for it, surely.
Well, he's last man. He's the wrong side of Gordon.
No, it's a deny of a goal scoring opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, he's trod on his foot, his boots come off. Wow. To be fair, it's just been a catalogue of disasters defensively for Leeds. It really has. Yeah, he's off. He's gone.
It's a red card. It's a red card for Junior Firpo for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. So they have lost a player, and that means that he won't be able to play any part next weekend because he's going to be suspended. He's looking at the referees, asking for forgiveness. He's not getting it.
That was a second yellow. It wasn't a direct. I think he's got a second yellow there. I'm pretty sure. And if he has, he's given a penalty away ridiculously. He probably should have got sent off earlier with a straight red for a challenge potentially. Now all of a sudden that should have been a straight red. I think he's been given a second yellow, then a red.
It's a massive liability.
And you've got to ask the question, as you say, it probably should have been a straight red in itself.
It should have been, because it was a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. 6 minutes added on at the end of the game, which is bad news for Leeds United, who've now got to play with 10 men for the final 6 minutes, and now they're really going to be under the cosh from Newcastle United, who also know, this is an opportunity for them now to put points on the board.
I'll tell you what, this for a left footer, it looks like Trippier's going to hit it. A right foot won't favour him, but I tell you what, the open side where the goalkeeper is, you couldn't place it any better for a left footer now.
Okay, so it's just right on the 18-yard line. It's on the 18-yard line. Patrick Bamford's wasting time, and he's going to get a yellow card for time wasting. And he goes off to be replaced by Pascal Strike. And they're going to try and stiffen things up at the back. The free kick is right on the perimeter of the 18-yard box. It's just right of the D, where the line of the D meets the edge of the box. That's where this is. And it's Trippier and Cher standing over it. And there is a 4-man wall, which Striker's just joined. And there's a player behind the wall laying on the floor as a draft excluder.
I'm going to tell you something now. If they try and get it up and down over the wall and miss the target, I will start crying. I really will.
Okay, tissues at the ready.
You've just got to hit the goalkeeper's side and hope that the pace on the ball with a left footer. I think Trippier's hitting this.
It's 2-2. We're into stoppage time, and there's 6 minutes added at the end of the 90. Cher and Trippier standing over it. Oh, there's a supporter who's got into the dugout, and he started to push and pull with Jason Tindall down in front of us. As that free kick went in, it smashed the wall and went out for a corner, but a supporter has just got on to the field of play and then ran to the Newcastle dugout and started pushing Jason Tindall.
I've got to say, I've just seen probably one of the worst free kicks I've ever seen. Never in a million years is that on for a right footer.
Trippier into the box from the corner kick, the subsequent corner kick. Gordon takes it away. Referee has given a foul against someone, and they're completely perplexed, the Newcastle players. They're turning and pleading to Simon Hooper. Actually, it was Eddie Howe who the supporter went up to and started pushing and pulling. What on earth was that all about? He must be banned for life. There's no way that guy should come back into a football match, I'm afraid. Eddie Howe's done absolutely nothing for a start, but also he should feel as if he's safe in his technical area. That is disgusting behaviour.
Yeah, I'm not sure what goes through people's minds at times. It's an emotional game, I understand that, but my goodness, please. But going back to that free kick, Tripp's really poor effort. It was never on to get it up and down. It was never on to curl it round directly either.
Still 2-2 with seconds to play. This is Talksport live at Ellen Road. The ball is over on the far side. It goes into the penalty area, the Newcastle penalty area. It's smuggled behind. I think it goes out for a goal kick. Oh, and then Nick Pope almost passed it straight to Robin Cook. It's played out towards the near side. Newcastle have it. They slalom up the pitch. Forshaw stops it from reaching Joel Linton. Picked up by Gordon, who wrestles for it, wins it, tries to turn, loses out to Nonto. Nonto gets fouled by Trippier, but it was a dive. He ran into the legs of Trippier. He's won the free kick.
Yeah, I've almost lost track of the fact the Leeds are down to 10 men, so Their mindset probably changed a little bit. Is a good point now with 10 men, who knows? But I think they've got opportunities to chase the game and still attempt to win it.
Talksport. Leeds United 2, Newcastle United 2. What a fantastic spectacle we've seen in front of us. We've had so much drama here. I must admit, I thought Leeds might get something from this game, but I didn't think it would be in these circumstances. We're into the 6 minute of added time at the end of the 90. They've taken so much time over every restart, Leeds United. They are killing the clock. Forshaw to take it. This could be the last action. Drifts it towards the edge of the penalty area. It's away by Byrne. Out as far as Ayling, who lifts it back into a congested box. Pope comes out, grabs it, and immediately dispatches it upfield towards Alan Saint-Maximin and finds him brilliantly. And he takes on Christensen, beats him, gets to the edge of the area. Across comes Adam Forshaw. Brilliant tackle. Great covering challenge from Adam Forshaw just when Leeds needed it most.
Well, as you say, rightly so, Christensen's come across, and what do you do when you've got Sam Maximin running at you? Do you stand up and dangle a leg? Yes, of course you do. And what happens? He goes past you.
Trippier tosses the ball into the box, in towards the near post, away by Struijk. It comes back out to Trippier. They're encouraging the whistle here. We played 51 minutes. That's all 6 of the minutes have been played now. But we've had stoppages. It's deep towards the far post. It's headed down towards Isaac. Berber gets something on it. It's inside the Leeds box. It's pinballing around. No one's taking control. And then Forshaw comes across and steers it towards the right position before it's eventually cleared upfield. Newcastle send it forward again. On the halfway line is Trippier. Down the middle of the penalty area it goes. It's a flick on by Scher. It drops on the edge of the box for Scher again. Left-footed, and it's saved by Robles down low to his left. A drive from the edge of the box which Robles had to steer away, and it goes out, and it's a throw-in once again to Newcastle. Eddie Howe's on the pitch. He wants to get things moving. Jason Tyndall's gone into the Leeds dugout because he wants the ball back in play. Trippier's got it back again. He's slipped and he's plays it forward. We've played 51 minutes and 56 seconds in the second half. The ball is down the left with Alan Saint-Maximin. Through the box it goes too high, and it's over the top, and it's out for a goal kick, and this game is destined to end in a draw.
How it's ended up there, I don't know. We've not been treated to a great quality game, but the intensity of the game, the excitement of the game has been there for all to see. The jeopardy's been there for all to see. It's been fantastic.
Well, they've had a bit more resilience about them, haven't they, Leeds United, who will have a little bit more hope now. Looking at the table, they will view it as a positive point, I think. This will take them into 18th position, upper place above Leicester, 31 points from 36, and the other teams around them have all got games in hand over them, and what happens next week will be important. There's the full-time whistle. What a game. A story of penalties and drama, red cards, foolishness and missed opportunities, but Big Sam is back, and he may not have started with a win, but he may well have helped Leeds United get a point that could be massive for them in the future. He's given them hope. He's given them a little bit of direction, both of which were absent for large parts of the season. They go to West Ham, hoping the Hammers are distracted by Europe so they can mount a late charge to try and stay in this league. Newcastle have got the jitters a little bit, defeats to Villa, Arsenal, and now drop points here means they still require 6 more points to guarantee a place in the Champions League. They'll probably get them, won't they? That game against Brighton on Thursday night has just become very, very big. It's live on Talksport. We'll be there. Join us too. It's finished at Ellen Road. Leeds United 2, Newcastle 2.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much. The fans are singing loud and proud here. That is such a vital point. Surely could be in their quest to stay in the Premier League. It's still looking so sticky. They've got 2 more games to save it. They were almost architects of their own downfall in this game today. Somehow they managed to rescue a point. Rasmus Christensen with an equaliser right towards the end of this game, and the Leeds fans are singing, and the players are going to do a round of the pitch to applaud them and thank them for their support, just as Newcastle do exactly the same. Their fans have been really loud today, really contributed to the atmosphere here, and it was absolutely raucous on and off the pitch, not least with that incident in the Newcastle dugout as the Leeds United player came into the Newcastle dugout and appeared to assault Eddie Howe, push and shove him. Absolutely unacceptable behaviour, and as Sam said, that fan should be nowhere near a football ground anywhere in the future. Still precarious times though for Leeds United. They are thanking the fans. This is one of their last games here at Elland Road this season. They're playing Tottenham Hotspur on the final day, and how pivotal that could be, how much they will need that support as they look to survive in the Premier League. Newcastle, of course, still in third, in a good position, but that top fourth place still is not fully consolidated, still chasing Champions League football. Okay, we can see Patrick Bamford on the TV screens. He was good and bad for this team. It was an incredible game, Stuart, in terms of the drama, in terms of what the